Alright, I need to change the pilot jet on this 4-stroke dirt bike carb, specifically the Keihin FCR MX from the CRF250R. First thing I'm going to do is shut off the gas if it's not already off. But before I even do that, I'm going to loosen the carb clamps. Just enough so that I can get the carb rotated. I'm going to take off the float bowl drain, which is a 17 millimeter, but I really like this aluminum float bowl drain wrench. It's extremely light. I throw it in my trail pack so that I can do jetting changes on the trail, and it adds virtually zero weight. It's pretty strong too. If you're interested in this, I'll link that in the description below. So I'll break that loose, and now the fuel is going to come pouring out of here, unfortunately. Okay, and now you can see that this hex right here, that's the main jet, and that's very easy to back off with just a 6 millimeter. But the pilot jet that is in front of it, some carbs you have to take the float bowl off, but this one you can get at it with the right size screwdriver as long as it's the right length. Here's where having the right tool is really nice, because you have to have a really stubby screwdriver. Because most of the time you can't rotate this carb enough without taking a bunch of stuff off. So originally I got this aluminum stubby screwdriver, and it works for installing the carb, but it's so flimsy that you can see it bent. I had to twist it back. It just doesn't work for breaking loose those pilot jets that are really stuck in there. So what I use now is this Tusk mini carb tool. It comes with 3 different tips. This is magnetic. This is great for taking out pilot jets, and then the 6 millimeter for removing the main jet. And the only thing I don't like about this is that it didn't come out sooner. So now I can just stick it up in there. Sometimes it takes a minute to find the pilot jet. I like to spin it around until I find the head of the pilot jet. Move this hose out of the way a little bit. And the reason I'm changing this is because based on the fuel screw, I had to have it like half a turn out, and it was still running a little bit rich. So that's why I'm going with a smaller pilot jet. Alright, there, I found it. See, I can just barely wiggle it back and forth. So now I turn it counterclockwise. So if you're looking at it from above, you're going to be spinning it backwards to break it loose. Now when you're doing this, try and picture where this pilot jet is as far as its location right here, because it can be kind of tricky to get it back in the right spot. And I'll explain that in just a minute. Pull this out. Oh, haven't got it quite yet. There we go. And just be careful. Oh, there it comes. Gotta catch it, so hopefully it doesn't, oh, like that. Don't want it to get lost or jammed in the sprocket or something. Alright, so there it is. It's a 42 pilot, genuine Keihin. It's got that stamp there. And now we're gonna install this 40 pilot jet. It is not Keihin, and some hardcore guys will say that, oh, you should only use genuine Keihin because they are always going to be accurate. The no-name brands are not accurate. And yeah, if you're buying the cheap Chinese stuff where it's like 20 jets for $5 or whatever, yeah, I probably wouldn't trust those. But this Pro X that I got from Rocky Mountain, I haven't had a problem with these. When I go down a size, it feels like it's down one size, or if I go up one size, it's up one size when it comes to throttle response and power. So I've really liked using these because they're more affordable than genuine, and they're easier to get. And I like how this fits, and this is either a stainless insert or it's steel nickel plated, so it's not likely to break or fold like that cheap aluminum one that I had before. So now this is the tricky part. You gotta hold the jet and the tool while putting it up in there while finding the right spot. You can see it's already fallen off. And this is where you can rotate the carb just a little bit and stick it up in there, hopefully in the right spot, and start turning it clockwise. I think I got it in there. And if you stop turning and pull that out and the jet doesn't fall out, then you know you got it threaded on there. And I like to keep going until I start to feel it get snug. There. Oh, it's starting to get snugger. The thread is a little bit weird on this one. Okay, yeah, normally it doesn't get, I don't really feel much tension till the very end. This one, the threads are a little bit tighter, which is okay as long as it doesn't seize up. So then you just give it a little bit extra at the end with 2 fingers. If you over tighten it, it's going to be really hard to get out, and you're going to be likely to strip out that flat head, and it's going to be very hard to get out unless you have some special tools. And it's as easy as that. So you can get the float bowl drain back on. Get started with your fingers, then use this handy dandy aluminum wrench. Need to rotate this carb back a little bit because this manual cam chain tensioner is kind of in the way. So to torque it down properly, I just put my finger on this and then my thumb push against that, and that's enough. And if it's leaking with that, then you probably need a new O-ring in there. So now I can rotate the carb back so that this lines up with the intake manifold, because you want it angled properly. And then you can snug down the carb clamps. And how do you know how tight to get these? Well, if you're starting to strip the heads of them, then you're too tight. And if it's really hard to get off when you're trying to remove it, then it's too tight. I just like to get it snug by hand with a screwdriver. We can turn the gas on and fire it back up and see how it goes. And once you change the pilot jet, it's critical to get the fuel screw adjusted properly so that it starts easily when hot or cold and that you have good throttle response. And if you want to learn how to do that quickly, whether you have a 4-stroke or a 2-stroke, click the link in the description below for my free guide on how to tune the fuel or air screw in just a few minutes. I'm Kelly Fagan from MX Hideout. Ride safe, have fun.